Hey everybody, welcome back to Verbose Mode, brought to you by TuxCare. We are here at Magnolia Conf, the last day of Magnolia Conf. Day 2, we are going to be wrapping up here soon, a couple more speakers, and we're going to wrap up Magnolia Conf 2025. I had to bring my buddy on, he's been a buddy for a long time, Todd Libby. Todd gave a talk this morning. We're going to get into that talk, and we're going to get into the topic a little bit, but let our viewers know what you're all about, Todd, who you are, and the work you do and the amazing things you do for the community.
Thanks, Chris. I'm Todd Libby. I have been a developer professionally for over 25 years, mainly accessibility and front end. And as you know, W3C invited expert. Right now I actually fell backwards into founding a startup. So we're working on an app, and it's great to be back here in Jackson, Mississippi at Magnolia, and having a lot of fun. Great speakers this year again, and it's good to be here.
Besides your talk this morning, what has been the highlight so far of the conference for you?
Well, other than the food, which you know.
The food is great. Yeah, I keep talking about the food. Every guest I have on, we keep talking about the food. They don't skimp on the food.
No. And being a former chef myself,
you know your food.
I'm all about.
You can
food.
cook. I've seen your food, and you've taken me to good restaurants before.
Yes. Just the atmosphere and the community here is always great. Everybody's friendly, and it's new speakers. With a lot of new speakers.
A lot of new speakers. Yeah.
So it's very welcoming, very inclusive, the way a community should be, and I think that seeing how the community comes together and ties in, especially supporting new speakers, that's always at the top of my list at any conference.
It's been a running theme, just because I've been bringing it up for all my guests, about not just the inclusivity, and the inclusivity is going to tie in with our topic, but the intimacy of the event itself, because it's smaller, right? And like I was saying in my last few guests I had on, we want it to grow, right?
Yeah.
But then with growth comes harder, more challenges to connect, right?
Yep.
Jason brought up a good point. He said, there's people that are outside eating, and this was during lunch when Jason was on, that may never have ran into each other at a 1,000-person conference.
Yep.
Right? But Magnolia gives everybody the opportunity to what I'm calling a table track, right? Not a hallway track. It's a table track. And that's where the community is made. You've heard me say this over and over in pretty much all my talks when I talk about developer community.
Yep.
You can learn all day long in breakout rooms, in sessions, right? In tracks. But that's not where the community is made.
No.
The community is made in the hallway track, and the breakfast, and the lunch, and the dinners, and the happy hours. But in this case, the community is made at the table.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot to say about those intimate communities that also develop into micro communities.
Yep, definitely. I totally agree with you there. And this has been around for quite a while. This conference has been around for quite a while, and I've only spoke here. This will be the third time.
I've done it 3 times. I did it virtual, and then we did it in 2023, and now we're here in 2025.
So this would be 3 because I did virtual
during COVID.
Yeah, I think I did. Boy, I'm getting old.
We're getting old.
We are. I have more, like I've been saying all day. I have less and less pepper in the salt and pepper.
I'm getting more and more of. It's just. It's happening. So.
Yeah, but no, there are growing pains, especially how conferences are now with less and less attendance at a lot of conferences that I'm hearing from other people. They go to a conference. Oh, there's a lot less people there than there was last year and the year before that. So, but this conference in particular, I would love to see more people here, and experience the community that's here. And like you said, and I love that table track, you know, have that experience. New people learning. I mean, you know, everybody. You know, we have Brian, who had what do we say, 40 years experience, developer experience. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, in his first conference talk.
Yeah,
He was one of the people here that are doing their first talk ever, which
and
is
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's what community is all about.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
let's talk about accessibility. Your talk this morning was on accessibility.
Yep.
You know, I've been a big person in the accessibility space. That's how you and I met years ago, and I kind of nudged you into the accessibility space. What was the talk about for anybody that wasn't able to tune in, anybody that wasn't here? What's the breakdown on the conference talk you gave this morning? Because you were first up in the lobster suit.
Yes, I was.
I said we would talk about lobsters a little bit. This man right here is a fiend for lobsters and coffee milk. We don't have to get into lobsters and coffee milk.
No, we don't have
to. But Todd loves his lobsters. Yeah. So let our viewers know about your talk this morning.
So my talk was on deceptive patterns and the impact on accessibility that they have, and you know how at some point we've all run into a deceptive pattern and or a anti-pattern, which there are differences. You know, anti-pattern is without intent. A deceptive pattern is with intent for the company or the organization to financially gain from the user, keeping them trapped and locked into a path they don't necessarily want to take. So I went through some examples of deceptive patterns and how in the W3C we're working towards including guidelines that address these deceptive patterns in WCAG 3, which is 2029-2030. So that's still very far down the road. I mean, it's in editor's draft now, and it's still experimental. So, but the work is there. It's in the editor's draft now, and I'm really proud of that because I put in a lot of research, a lot of work, and I work with a lot of great people in the W3C that we all teamed up together and we made that happen.
How long have you been working in the accessibility space?
Professionally, just about the same amount of time that I've been developing, so a little over 25 years. But I never put myself out there until you and I met in Burlington, Vermont.
Yep, that was UX Burlington. That was a good event.
Yeah, it was.
That was really good event.
Yep.
What would you say is one of the best things about working in the accessibility space? And then when we say accessibility, we're talking about digital web accessibility. Mm-hmm. You know, we're not talking about, you know, building accommodations for people. We're talking about the digital and web space.
Yep.
What is one of the best things about working in that space?
One of the best things I've found is the education and the teaching moments. I mean, you've been DevRel for a long time.
A while, yeah.
And, you know, I've sort of done that DevRel in an accessibility sort of way. And I think it's giving a talk and having somebody come up to you and say, you know, this is my first time, I'm learning accessibility. Thank you, I learned a lot. That right there, every time I've given a talk and somebody has come up to me afterwards and said something like that, I did my job.
Yeah.
That's the moment I am like, okay, I did my job, and you know, I'm proud of my talk, and I can breathe easier now that I don't have that, you know, imposter syndrome, or I have that anxiety before the talk, and you know, you're all tense and, you know, nervous to give the talk, and then you give the talk and you're like, now I can just chill out.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things too for me when I did speak on accessibility. It's like when you see the light bulbs go off, right, or the jaw drop, or if you're being vulnerable, like Roxy and I were talking about this. Her talk yesterday was extremely vulnerable talk. It was very personal, and that was her first conference talk ever was yesterday, and we were talking about personalizing that experience. Mm-hmm. You know, if you can give a conference talk and you can hook people by a personal experience, and you can share that vulnerability with them, that also makes them vulnerable because they're sharing it with you, right? Because it's two-way, it's transactional, right? We're not just giving, we're also doing something back, right? Receiving. And when you shed a tear on stage and someone else might shed a tear in the audience, like that's when you know, hey, I've done my job because now I've impacted somebody, right? Whether that's through technology or I've impacted them as a person.
Yeah.
And I've had people come up to me after, some of the accessibility talks and show me their computer and be like, hey, I just filed a GitHub issue because what you talked about, we really need to use it, and I didn't know that was a thing, and hey, we're going to use this in our projects, and people coming up to me, drying their eyes because they were so impacted, not just by the technology that I was speaking about, but the people that I'm speaking about and the personalization that comes along with that.
Yeah.
And as long as one person walks away, I've done my job,
Yep.
and you've done your job.
Yep. Definitely. And that's probably the highlight of giving a talk for me is that moment, that light bulb moment you mentioned.
Yeah.
And at every conference I've had that person walking up to me afterwards and saying, what you said, they learned a lot. They filed a GitHub issue at work, and they did this or that to make something more accessible for somebody. So that moment, and the receiving part, I just wanted to mention that, and I like how you touched upon that. My main goal at a conference is being at one talk that I have absolutely no idea what it's
About.
What it's about. The talk that we just heard about Go.
Yeah.
I started dabbling around in it, and listening. I'm learning stuff. It's something that I normally don't deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So that's one main, and you've seen me at plenty of conferences, and I will go into a Java talk, or I will go into a Spring Boot talk, or this, that, and the other thing, and learn something, take a piece of that knowledge and that education with me, and if I decide, I want to make something with, Angular, for instance, and I make it and I remember something from that talk,
Yeah.
that's the receiving part that I enjoy most.
Yeah.
Is that.
If you could give a tip to someone that wanted to get started with web accessibility and they're brand new to it, right? What would you say is the best way to start if they're interested and they want to learn more about web accessibility? How do they get their feet wet?
Well, don't read the WCAG guidelines, first of all. That's a very like I mentioned during my talk, it's a very technical manual written by technical writers.
Yeah.
My answer to your question would be ask a lot of questions. Ask every question that you have. Find somebody on, Twitter or Blue Sky or what have you, whatever network you're on or in, and ask questions. Find somebody, that is willing to, give that education back freely. There are a lot of people, as you know, in the accessibility space who are willing to, give that education, answer the questions, and they love to do that. I enjoy, I still enjoy it. I'm not into accessibility as much as I used to be, but I still answer those questions because I will still advocate for accessibility.
So that's great. I know you've done a lot of great work out there. A lot of great people are still doing work out
Yep.
there, and more people still need to keep doing work out there.
Yep.
I'm going to end this with one question I've been asking everybody on stream.
Okay.
Since it is the Halloween season, and it is the theme of the conference,
Okay.
what was your favorite childhood costume for Halloween?
Wow. I got to think back. Captain America.
Nice.
I used to go as Cap all the time.
Nice.
When I was little.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have the shield and everything?
I had the shield and everything.
Was it like the like the vinyl, like hard to breathe suit, or was it like a?
It was the vinyl with the mask and everything, but I had I had help
Yeah.
making the shield from those circular sleds.
Oh,
that you would
okay.
slide down
Okay,
and
yeah,
look
yeah,
at.
yeah.
And we would paint that, and I would use that as my shield.
awesome.
So I was like a little kid behind this
Yeah.
big, huge shield.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool. Todd, I appreciate it. Is there anything that you want to plug before we end this?
Oh boy. I really don't have anything going on much. I'm on Blue Sky at toddl.dev, and any questions anybody has, like I said, I'd be happy to answer them if I can. If I can't, I'll find the answer for them. And do I have anything to plug? Not really. I'm kind of low profile these days. You know, just relaxing and doing my thing. So if I were to plug something, it would be, I don't know. Check out the work in the W3C on WCAG 3, and you know, if you read up on it, feel free to ask questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Todd, for your
thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to be wrapping up Verbose Mode, brought to you by TuxCare at Magnolia Conf 2025. Catch us on the road. We'll be doing Verbose Mode a lot coming up in the rest of the year, into the end of the year. So just stay tuned to our YouTube and Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the socials when we are going to be kicking off our next Verbose Mode. It will probably be my team lead Baruch that's doing it. And really appreciate all the time. Thank you all if you all tuned in. And we will catch you on the flip in 3, 2, 1. We're going to get it going. 3, 2, 1.
We got a microphone and everything. I feel